Oi, yo, yo. Well, let's see if after all that nonsense something happens here. Because I wanted to have a live stream where we can invite people into the chat. Um, and that didn't work. Uh, so now I don't even know. Oh, I can invite someone into the chat. I'm good, Anna. Another time. No, not next time. I'm here. We're waiting for people to join the chat. We'll see. Who's your daddy and what does he do? Hello. Yeah, so now I don't have the, I don't, see there was a problem. I tried to do the option where someone can join the chat, where you can join me in the chat. And when I did that, I wasn't able to go live for some reason. So yeah, that's why. Unfortunately, we had a delay and not able to bring people into the chat. Very, very frustrating. Because basically, if there wasn't someone who was invited beforehand to the chat, right, to be with me live, then it wasn't going to work. So yeah. Shalom Aleichem. Na, 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 na. In which year do you expect the death of Israel? Never, baby. Never, never, never. Can you get Messianic Jews Aliyah without having to deny Yeshua Mashiach? I don't know. So you might have seen my video about the Messianic Jews, and apparently they face some struggles getting into Israel or making Aliyah to Israel, like being considered Jews. We have Canada Info Warrior. Someone says, I hate Israel. Oh, his name is I hate. Oh, no. His name is not I hate Israel. Fine, That's your prerogative, but it's not very productive for your people now, is it? Something like that. I really wonder, who are all these people? Like, I got 41 people in the chat all of a sudden. What are they, all bots? Where are they? Where are you? Very weird how this thing works. Now would be a good time to insert ads. Oh, okay. Interesting. Why won't you have a chat with only subscribers? Yeah, I could do a live stream limited to members only, but then there wouldn't be enough people, I guess. I just don't have. Sup Nomad says Middle East 2026. That's next year. Vivian is here. Middle East 2026 is here. I support Israel. FWIW. What's that? In Troy. You look like Billy Gay, sir. Okay, whatever. So who else we got here? Welcome everyone. You can start asking your questions. I wanted people to go live with me, but I couldn't get that feature to work. We also have here Bong, James Bong. I found a way to make Jews and Muslims coexist. Just say Shalom Aleikum, which is like Salam Aleikum, but that's kind of funny actually. It's like a mix of Shalom and Salam Aleikum. Well, the New York mayor, your thoughts? First of all, he's an extreme socialist. So what's he doing in New York? New York is a city of capitalism. New York is a city of big business and startups. I don't understand how that works with socialism. I think it's going to drive all the business out of the city, And yeah, also the globalized intifada stuff. We saw that happen already. I think it was in Washington, right, where this guy went and murdered two people in like a Jewish museum or something like that. We'll probably get a bit of that under this guy. Someone says, I'm not even subscribed. I think your videos have popped up in my head because I've watched it before, even though I am in America. Where are you from? Barack Bush says, wait, oh, damn. Oh, my God. So many technical problems. You a YC? What's a YC? Valerie asks how old I am. I just turned 37 recently. Someone here with a Pokemon ball says Israel should fight their own battles, not in the U.S. dime. Also, genocide is bad. Well, there isn't a genocide. I agree, though, that I don't think the U.S. should give money to. I think the military support should just Israel buy the weapons and be a political alliance. I don't want the U.S. money. Why are you coming back to Rwanda, Kigali, and what you loved in Rwanda? When I'm going to go back to Kigali? I don't know. Africa, it's quite a journey, huh? But yeah, I like Kigali, super clean, very nice people in Rwanda, very orderly. So yeah, and then I went to the lake, saw some cool stuff. Hope to be back in Africa someday. Young capitalist YC. Yeah, I just think I don't understand what an extreme socialist is doing in New York. Majdi, Gola Magdi is here as well. How's it going from Egypt? Greetings, bro. I am Jibril from Somalia. I watch your videos. You are cool. Keep it up. I see what you're saying. Someone says, are you still not coming to Tunisia? I don't know. At least until all the craziness of post-October 7th begins to calm down, I don't think I'm going to be making journeys to these places. Like places that I can't go as an Israeli, right? I would have to go on a different foreign passport and hide a little bit like I did in my other videos. So yeah. Hey, if you're brave, come to Iraq. I don't need to prove anything. How old are you? I already answered that today, 37. You look Pakistani. Are you recognized in other countries from YouTube? It's happened to me a couple times. I was recognized in Saudi Arabia. I was recognized when I was in Al Ula. I was recognized once in Rome. I was recognized in Armenia. I was recognized in Israel a couple of days ago when I was walking in Tel Aviv. Someone said, "You're famous." I said, "What are you talking about?" He said, "You're a YouTuber, right?" I said, "Yeah, but that doesn't mean I'm famous. I have 30,000 subscribers, But yeah. Did you serve in the IDF? Yeah. I was a combat medic like 15 years ago. Time flies. Shalom and blessings, Alex, says Jessica. Thank you. Are you in New York City? No, I'm not. Would you please help me, sir? Even $100 would save my life. Shalom, says Ehab Said. How intense was the training? Hamad asks. It was like 4 months basic training, or 3.5 months basic training, and then another 4 months of what's called the advanced training. This is regular combat training that I went through, because I went through the regular combat soldier training, and then I did an extra medic course, which was like 3 months. And it kind of was happening during, basically like all in all, my training to do all that should be around 10 months. Yeah. But I kind of forgot a lot of my medic training when I did, which is, you learn how to, well, actually every soldier learns how to put on the bandages and how to do the thing that blocks the blood. Like, so if you have something like a hit to one of your main blood vehicles, then you have to close it off. How to like insert liquids into the veins if someone gets dehydrated or he needs that treatment. If he's lost blood, things like that. So yeah, a bunch of stuff. But it's been so long since I've done any of it that I probably wouldn't be very good at it now. Anna sent a generous contribution. Thank you, Anna. How's your writing going? I'm also interested in hearing about your future lectures. Yeah, so I'm writing my book. Got some writer's block sometimes, but I got a few extra pages down today, which is nice, which I hope you guys, my followers, will want to buy that book. about my travels in these Arab Muslim countries. So yeah, when that book comes out, probably on Amazon, unless I get a publisher, then you can purchase it for your Kindle or a written copy. And I always had a dream of being an author, and hopefully it's going to happen, but it's going to take some time. Thank you, Anna, for your amazing contribution again. Anna is one of my my biggest supporter of the channel, and I have to say thank you every time. Thank you. It's called a tourniquet. Yeah, tourniquet. Every IDF soldier, every soldier learns how to put down a tourniquet, but as a medic, you also have the ability afterwards to kind of monitor and to give like some extra liquids and things. You have the morphium shots that you're supposed to inject on the thigh right over here. So that's for people in extreme pain, a bunch of things that you learn. Is it in English or Hebrew? The book is in English for now, because that way I have a bigger potential audience, also the audience that follows me. But I'm gonna probably put up a Hebrew version at some point, right? Because it is dealing with Israel, so that's a potential audience. But I'm not there yet. Like I'm still kind of in the phase of completing the actual. I'm getting close-ish to completing the book without like going over it and revising, which is going to probably be a big part of the work. And then there's the whole technical part of uploading, getting it up for Kindle, getting it up for Amazon, or getting it through a publisher, all that stuff. So there's still a while till the book comes out, and then more while until it would be in Hebrew to translate. Say a word in Arabic. I can't do this rolling R of the Arabic. Really hard for me. Rice. But yeah, anyone, if you want, Gola, you can write me in Arabic. I can read Arabic usually if it's not too complicated words, and then I can answer you in Arabic maybe. Open your own channel, says Son. Oh, he's telling someone to open his own channel, Sonny. Someone see here's Ra, Ra. Yeah, there's a Ra, there's a Ra, and a Ra, and a Ra, and a Ra. Yeah. What else we got here? We got here Ehab Said said hi. Son E is a friend of mine from Israel, a childhood friend who's crashed the chat. But don't take too much notice of him because he's just a troll. What food or drink did you most enjoy during your travels? I love the food in Peru. Love the food in Peru. Ceviche, and this. It was also super cheap. I also really like the food in Indonesia. That was good as well. Testimony. You didn't answer my question. There's too many questions here. Too many questions. I can't keep up. What is the most important thing people need to know to understand Israel or Israeli society? I would say you guys got to understand that we as Jews, we view ourselves as a distinct people, the Jews, you know? And I think a lot of the people who want to destroy Israel or support the Palestinians, then they view Jews as, in essence, essentially belonging to other countries, being of other countries, and just, they practice Judaism, right? So, like a French Jew is a Frenchman first, and then maybe he's a little bit Jewish, rather than being a Jewish person who ended up in that country through whatever circumstance. So, it's this term, Am Yisrael, the people of Israel, not the religion of Judaism, right? The people of Israel. I don't know if you guys know that song, Am Yisrael Chai. There's by Eyal Golan. He's one of our most famous singers, and also probably like a sexual predator, but you can still sing really well. This one. Oh no, not that. Wait. Love that song. This one. This guy. What do you think of Amr Diab? I heard some of his songs a while back. I know he's the biggest celeb in Egypt, right? You hear that? Oh, this is not an endorsement of Eyal Golan, the person, but it's just a great song. You hear that? Am Yisrael Chai. F you people who think Am Yisrael Chai is some type of bad thing. No, 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 no. It just means the people of Israel live. Baruch Hu shomer aleinu, shmor יכול עלינו, כי אין לנו עוד מדינה, תעשה שלום בינינו, שמור על חילתנו. I don't know all the words. That's why I was getting confused. But this I know. Am Yisrael Chai. Am Yisrael Chai. Do you think Israel will invade Egypt in the future? No, man. No, we're not invading Egypt. We are not invading Egypt. We don't want war with Egypt. We made peace with Egypt. That's it. It's done. It's over. I don't know what they're telling you over there in Egypt. Like we want to get. We exchanged Sinai for peace. Okay, that's it. It's done. I wish we had better relationship with Egypt. I really wish, because I love my trip in Egypt. Am Yisrael Chai. להיות מאוחדים. עם ישראל חי. Well, if some of the haters get hold of this clip of mine, they're gonna get so angry with me. לנו עוד מדינה. Do you think people in Israel would have supported 2008 two-state if Palestine accepted? Oh, like the Omer plan. I don't know. Again, it depends how much the other side would embrace it. If there would be terrorism or no terrorism after an Oslo Accord. If the Arab countries got on board. If the U.S. and other big powers were pushing to it. Like there's a lot of other factors that would have come into play as far as kind of making that viable and happening. I always hold to the belief. Wait, end of the song. Am Yisrael Chai, guys. So yeah, I mean, I just think that Saluki is live right now. If you want to join him, yeah, that's what I tried to do. I would try to. I tried to also have a live where other people could join me, but then I had problems with the technical problems. What do you think of the recent invasion of Cyprus? The invasion of Cyprus? What are you talking about? By Turkey? It would be interesting to see you debate someone like Saluki. Yeah. I'm just like, I don't care about the Saluki anymore. He's gone full blown, whatever, Palestinian activist. I don't know, and that's fine. That's his right to do what he wants to do, and it's all good. He means a lot of Israelis have now traveled to Cyprus. Yeah. Alec, how do you justify bombing hospitals in Gaza? I don't think Israel is just bombing bored and for meaninglessly for no reason bombing hospitals in Gaza. I think Israel struck targets, civilian targets used for military purposes, among them hospitals. It was a bit strange to kind of see, like I saw an Al Jazeera report, like hospitals bombed in Gaza, and then like each hospital was bombed 20 times or something. And look at the resilience of the Palestinians. Israel could knock out, destroy a hospital in one bombing. Like, if a hospital was bombed 10 times by Israel, and it wasn't destroyed. I guess Israel's not trying to destroy the hospital, but trying to target something in the hospital. What do you think of Israeli tourists' obnoxious behaviors abroad in countries like Thailand? I don't know. I know there was that video of that girl who was being obnoxious. Okay, fine. I don't think all Israeli tourists are obnoxious and bad. Some are okay, and I think it's just an obsession with Israel that people want to latch onto that. All the hospitals and schools. No, Israel didn't bomb all the hospitals and schools, but they did bomb some sites that were used for military activity. For example, in Iran, Israel didn't bomb any hospital. Why is that? Because they weren't using it for military activity. All AR gone. Okay. Shalom Beneinu. Tishmor al chayaleinu. Did you ever want to get married? Will you marry a Jewish girl? Yeah, hopefully one day. People in Gaza are not even studying for the second year now. Yeah, it's really was a mistake by Hamas to invade and kidnap all those people. Maybe they should try returning the hostages and disavowing the desire to annihilate Israel and destroy Israel. And then people can go back to school safely. Is Waze still operating in Tel Aviv, the GPS company? There's some GPS problems in Israel right now, but overall it's working. Can someone support Israel and Palestine? Yeah, why not? You can support the Israelis and Palestinians being self-determined in their own country, right? How many languages do you speak? I mean, I only speak well English and Hebrew, right? I can speak some Arabic, a little bit of Spanish, a little bit of German. When's this Netanyahu corruption case going to end? Yeah, I don't know. With all the war stuff going on, it's been something that's like been ongoing for years. Let's see what happens with the election next year. That's going to happen before the corruption case is resolved. Maybe he'll be voted out, and that will save a lot of the problems. Do you think Hamas will ever be destroyed? And do you think the idea of Hamas is deeper than you think? Look, Hamas is not some detached, some like detached element of Palestinian society that has nothing to do with Palestinian society. Hamas represents the Palestinians. He represents their non-recognition of Israel, their idea that the Jews are not a nation and don't belong, the desire to destroy Israel, the support of terror attacks against civilians. All those things the general Palestinian population supports pretty much. The Hamas are just like a particular group representing like the most kind of violent execution of that ideology. So you're right that even if you defeat Hamas, the Palestinian ideology, which is no Jewish state, will remain. Yeah, that's for sure. But the ability to kind of govern that territory and siphon off all the resources and use the civilian structures to fight and to get all the, like a lot of those things can be removed, and then you can maybe start to work towards a better solution. Yeah. Have any Pride events still happen in Israel? No, they were canceled because of the war. Lol, Israel has openly stated Palestine is going bye-bye. Someone says, is Netanyahu seen as a... Wait, what's this? Is Netanyahu seen as a hero because of the previous missions when he was young or not? I have read that. I am curious. Keep up. Oh, seen as a hero? I don't know. I mean, yeah, he has the military background. Like everyone in Israel has like most of the politicians have a military background, right? They were fighters and things like that. So he has that, but that's not. We have other people who have military backgrounds who didn't become prime minister. So in the opposition and whatnot. So his political ability goes way beyond his military background. Yeah. Someone asked, is Tel Aviv an LGBT capital? I don't know. It's definitely the most LGBT friendly place in the Middle East for sure. In your opinion, how many Palestinians do you think oppose a Jewish state? All of them, pretty much, except for a tiny, tiny minority. How would two-state solution exist? Well, it's kind of not on the table at all now, but it would be something along the 1967 lines, as it's called. The Palestinians would have parts of most of the West Bank and Gaza, Jerusalem. There would be custodians for the holy sites on the Temple Mount, some type of arrangement, maybe with Jordan, maybe with Saudi Arabia, to ensure access for everyone to those holy sites. Access also for into places in the West Bank, in Hebron, Tomb of the Patriarchs, that kind of thing. So, custodianship stuff for the holy sites. The territories kind of been marked out. I just don't think it's about land, right? I think it's an ideological thing. Do you think your channel hasn't blown up because you're Israeli? I don't know. Did you cover the church bombing in Damascus? I heard about it. It's not reported very often when Christians get killed in Muslim countries, unfortunately. Hello from Egypt. I'm Iskal Khai. Shukran. Ya Masri. Do you ever get invited on Israeli TV channels? Well, I used to work in a TV channel. I mean, I work freelance TV channel, I-24. I did go on the Israeli national broadcaster Khan a couple times to talk about my travels to kind of unusual places, like when I was in Venezuela and Indonesia. So I have clips of that maybe I can share it on my Patreon. No, but it's in Hebrew. I think I shared on my link. I think I made a translation for one of them, but yeah. What do you think of the Democratic candidate for mayor of New York? Yeah, I already talked about that. He's a wild socialist in a capitalist city. And yeah, he'll probably support Palestinians, Iran, Russia, China, everything that's anti-Western. So I don't know how that's going to go down. Is it true that Jews want to make some kind of ritual related to red cows to summon the Messiah or something like this? Yeah, I heard of some people, the red heifers, right, or something. My friend Tal, the traveling clad, made a video about them like a year ago or something. He went to the West Bank and he did a video about them. Yeah, something to do with the Third Temple ideology coming and the red heifers and something. Some small group of people believe something related to that. I don't know exactly what it is. Now, what else did I miss here? Did you watch Eurovision? I've watched in the past a couple times, not this time. What do you think? Israel got second place, right? What do you think of the Maronites? Yeah, Maronites in Lebanon. We have some friends among the Maronites in Israel. A lot of them don't like us also. So I don't know. I think now the Maronites are more anti-Hezbollah, no? And that they don't want Hezbollah running the show in Lebanon, dragging them into wars with Israel. That's what I'm hoping for. That's what I've always been saying. I'm saying like I'm a pro Lebanese sovereignty person, yeah. So I think Lebanon should be a fully sovereign country, and as a fully sovereign country, that their government, their elected government, chooses if to go to war or not. Yeah. So you want to go to war? You want to go to war with Israel? Fine. You want to start bombing Israel? Fine. But at least it's your choice, right? What happened in the last year wasn't Lebanon's choice. It was Hezbollah. It was Iran's choice. Hezbollah started firing on Israel, and then Lebanon just had to get dragged into a war with Israel without the people having any say in the matter or the government. So I hope that the Maronites and the Sunnis and the Shias who are not pro Hezbollah, right? There are those as well. All the people reclaim their sovereignty in Lebanon and not have their whole policy with Israel dictated by Hezbollah. That's what I'm hoping, at the very least. What about free hugs for everyone? Give me a hug through the screen. So yeah. What did I miss here? Sorry, I'm just looking at my computer here that has the. Wait a second. You know what I should do? I should, instead of looking that way, I should probably do something like this, right? And then all these setups are. Oh, God. I guess that's a little better, isn't it? Probably a little better. Do you wish to marry Muslim girl? Probably not. Be a little difficult, huh? Little bit difficult. I'm debating with brainwashed college fanatic, and he doesn't listen to reason, only turns to international law, blindly following it without looking at reality. How do you suggest I debate him? I don't know. I mean, first of all, there's a lot of international law arguments that don't work for the Palestinians, you know? Israel being a sovereign country, that's also international law. So when Hamas says they want to annihilate Israel, that's against international law. When they fire rockets into Israeli territory, it's against international law. If you're talking about the settlements, then still there's a principle of, you know, when one entity dissolves and another takes its place, it retains the borders of the previous entity. So the British mandate dissolving and Israel being declared, those territories, which are called settlements under international law, actually, if you apply the principles of international law equally, are not settlements. This is called the Iutis Possidetis Juris. I'll write it down for you. This principle, Possidetis Juris. So there's that. But I don't, so you can, you can just, if someone keeps bringing up international law, you can mention a few issues of international law that don't support the Palestinians. And then you can make the argument that also international law doesn't, you don't make peace through, quote, international law. And then there's this bigger story of accepting Jewish self-determination in a state. Oh, we got a bad mouther here. We will put this user in a timeout. Do you think there'll be a Palestinian state in the future alongside with the Israeli one? Well, I would have hoped so, but I think it's kind of 2001 was a crucial year. 2001. We had a left-wing government in Israel. We had the Palestinian Authority that had just emerged. We had a U.S. president at the end of his second term who was willing to put everything on the line in order to get an agreement. And the agreement was on the table. The territorial elements of the dispute had been resolved. The custodianship for the holy places had been resolved. All Arafat had to do was say yes. And he said no and walked away and launched Intifada, like a massive campaign of terrorism. That was a crucial moment. I think after that happened, nobody in Israel believed in two-state solution anymore. And they still don't. Because everything was offered and refused. So what are you going to offer now that wasn't offered in 2001? Nothing. It was because of the right of return, the idea that the Palestinians would return to territories inside Israel and claim those, which would mean the end of Israel. So he wasn't willing to give that up. That was the stated reason why. And this is what Bill Clinton, negotiators like Dennis Ross, like Prince Bandar from Saudi Arabia all said, that Arafat was the one who walked away. So now to recreate those conditions, I don't know if it's possible anymore. Do you think Iran will break out into a civil war soon? I don't know. I mean, remember, there's also a lot of different kind of ethnic and religious groups inside Iran that could potentially be in conflict. Like there's the Arabs in Southwest in Khuzestan, there's Kurds, so that's an issue as well. And then of course the anti-regime versus pro-regime. So I don't know. Like I don't want a bloody civil war in Iran. I think that would be bad. But I also don't want the Islamic Republic in power forever, because that's also bad. So I don't know how that ends. Do you think Israel defeated Iran in the 12-day war? Was it a draw? Well, depends how you define defeated. I think Israel knocked out a lot of facilities and killed a lot of top commanders. I think Iran mostly just fired rockets aimlessly at Israeli civilians and managed to hit some. So their missile program showed that it can penetrate Israeli defenses. So I guess that's a type of achievement for them. But I think Israel, let's say, performed better militarily than Iran. But we expected that because Israel has a more advanced, skilled army than Iran. Mossad bombed a hostel state years ago into Iran. Mossad bombed a hostel? What hostel? We must make the Middle East German, someone says. Which is more powerful, in your opinion, the CIA or Mossad? I have no idea. Probably CIA. I mean, they just have much more manpower and whatever and influence. Mossad is pretty strong, though. I mean, they've done a lot of operations in far-flung places. And it's kind of like part of the Israeli, the fear they strike into the enemies of Israel that the Mossad could be anywhere. On the one hand, it creates deterrence. On the other hand, it's bad because, like me, when I was filming in some of these places, particularly in Saudi Arabia, I was always scared that someone would think I'm some sort of Mossad agent, right? They discover I come from Israel and accuse me of being Mossad and all that. So, why do people ignore to talk about genocide? Because there's no genocide, brother. Zenpedia. No genocide, all right? Armenia was a genocide. The Holocaust was a genocide. Rwanda was a genocide. Cambodia was a genocide. Look those up and compare those events to Gaza, and you'll understand why I don't have patience to answer your question, which I've answered 100 times on these live streams. Someone says Hamas is one letter off from Haman, see Book of Esther. That's cool. Yeah. You know how the Iranians say Haman? Haman is the villain from the story of Purim, which occurs in Iran. They call him Haman. That's in a Persian accent. Do you have guests on your streams? Yeah, I was supposed to have guests today, and I couldn't get the effing guest thing to work. That's why I was so delayed. I was like, today, guests are going to come on my live stream and debate me or whatever, talk to me. And I couldn't get it to work. And then people were standing by. So I was just like, okay, I'm going to just do a regular live stream, and hopefully it will work next time. I think if there's not someone, an invited guest at the beginning joining me, it doesn't work for some reason. What do you think about Jesus Christ? Jesus Christ, the Savior. Look, the only issue with Jesus in Israel is that we don't believe he's the Messiah, right? We don't believe he's the Son of God. And, the Christians do. So whatever you might think of him as being a great person or whatnot, or having a great message of peace, which he probably did, we can't accept him as the Messiah in our religion or as the Son of God. It's like it goes against basic Jewish principles. Alec, who created Hamas? I would say Hamas was created essentially by an Egyptian school teacher in 1929, Hassan el-Banna, who founded the Muslim Brotherhood, which is a movement, a political Islamic movement aiming to bring Islamic governance and Sharia law to the entire world. So the Muslim Brotherhood, various groups around the world. Hamas is called the Palestine branch of the Muslim Brotherhood, and that's where their ideology comes from. Israel, I would say, tried maybe to play Hamas off against the PA in the 80s after years of terrorism from the Palestinian Authority, from Fatah. So they may have supported them versus Fatah and Arafat at certain times, but that's fine. That's just like trying to deal with two enemies that you have and trying to figure it out. This idea that like Israel created this Islamic fundamentalist group that wants to annihilate Israel for some reason is a very silly idea. Which city do you live in Israel? I lived in Jaffa. Now I live in Haifa. Where is the green line? It goes through like the center of the land and has a little bulge in the Jerusalem area. The green line is named after the green marker that was used in 1948 to draw the armistice between Israel and the surrounding Arab countries. Yeah. Bissaker says hi. Israel occupying them was peaceful and they had equality. I don't know what that's referencing, but yeah. The green line doesn't actually exist. Yeah, it never existed, the green line. The green line is a green marker drawing an armistice line after a war fought between the Jews and the surrounding Arab countries. The same way, I don't know, an armistice line drawn after First World War or whatever doesn't exist, or an armistice line drawn after this and this battle doesn't exist anymore. Why would it exist? Some parts of afterwards it was a border between Israel and Jordan. Then Israel captured those parts of Jordan in the 6 Day War, right? After Jordan illegally occupied West Bank. So, of course, the line doesn't exactly exist. The borders of the supposed two-state solution would be something along that green line, yeah. But it never existed as a thing, really, not really. Unless you, maybe the biggest point at which it existed was between 48 and 67, because the state of Jordan and the state of Israel, which were in a state of hostility, supposedly, that line divided them, right? That was like the border between them. But nobody recognized that as being part of Jordan. Jordan just annexed that territory. So, you know. What would you do if you were Palestinian? I would, first of all, say clearly that my goal is to live peacefully next to the state of Israel, which represents the Jewish people, rather than constantly saying my goal is to annihilate Israel. And then I would stop committing terror attacks and firing rockets at Israel. Those are the two main things I would do if I were in Gaza and if I were a Palestinian. And I think if they did that, things would improve dramatically. So don't say you want to annihilate Israel. That's usually something that will harm you when you tell your neighbor that you want to kill them and destroy them. And don't fire rockets into Israel. That's also something that's going to get you in trouble. I think if they didn't do those two things, they would have every opportunity to build up Gaza into something great. And I really do believe that. Did you hear the new Syrian regime is going to give up the Golan Heights? So there's talk about Israel and Syria signing some type of peace agreement, which would be great and amazing. Someone said here, Israel giving up the Golan Heights, right? So Israel's had the Golan Heights since 67. In earlier peace talks, it was said that Israel would have to give up the Golan Heights to Syria for peace. Our friend here in the chat says that Syria's willing to remove that claim for a peace agreement, maybe, which would be great. I believe in peace for peace, yeah. We'll have to wait and see. Obviously, this new government in Syria wants to be on the good side of the EU, of Saudi, of UAE, of the Americans, and therefore normalizing with Israel is kind of like something that would work for them in that respect, out of self-interest, right? Not because they love Israel or anything, but that's fine. That's like how agreements work. It's in your interest, and yeah, hopefully it will happen. It'll be amazing. Oh wait, what do I have here? I need to charge. Well, I guess I can just do the live stream till my phone battery runs out, which is currently at 8%. So yeah. Is there a country you would not visit under any circumstances? I don't know. I would visit whoever I could. Probably the number one country I would never actually want to visit is Qatar. I think Qatar is, they just whatever. They got all their money because of Western powers who told these Bedouins in the desert what oil is and how to extract it and how to sell it. And then they proceeded to pour all that money into a news channel, Al Jazeera, to bash those same societies that made them rich, right? So always America's terrible, this is terrible, and all that. Promote Muslim Brotherhood, promote Hamas and all this. Bring in tons of slave labor to build their soccer stadiums and everything. And there's nothing special about that place. It's just another Bedouin tribe, whatever. Like, why would high buildings built by slave labor, whatever? Like, I don't know. Qatar is like the country that I hate the most because there's just they don't represent anything. I prefer the Palestinians. At least the Palestinians have something going for them, you know. All right, Anna, Swedish Girls on Adventure sent another donation. Thank you so much. Have you read Amos Oz's famous book, To Cure a Fanatic, which I find is unbiased? He claims it on Europe and wants to build bridges between the two peoples. What's your opinion on it? Do you agree with Amos? I never read that book. Amos Oz is like a famous Israeli author. And I never read that book, so thank you for that. Well, I need to try to check that out. What do you think the end game is for the Palestinians in Gaza? Do they all have to leave? I would say, like I said, the two things they can do, besides releasing the hostages, right, is to change their policy from annihilating Israel to I want to live peacefully next to Israel. Stop siphoning off all the funds to fire rockets in Israel and start building like a society, you know? Building your future state, start building the functioning institutions for your future state. But they're not in that game, right? Because a lot of those people don't even believe they belong in Gaza. They belong in, they want to implement, quote, return, as it's called, and return into Israel through right of return, right? So they're refugees from what is now Israel living in Gaza. So they have to break into Israel. They can't build up Gaza because they're only refugees in Gaza. Like, this is their logic. So until they understand that they're not refugees, Gaza is their home, or maybe the West Bank, and then they'll have to be forced with the idea into understanding the idea that this is what you have and this is what you need to build and make it to something great. And it can be something great because it's in a prime location, it has a beachfront, it has the goodwill of all the international community, and they can do it just like Singapore did it. And Singapore is also the same size as Gaza or whatever, and it's like one of the world's richest countries. So that's what they should do. How's your family? Fine. Survived the Iran war. Swedish Girls on Adventures. I have to confess, I'm a bookworm. Okay. Someone here says, this is a situation without a real solution. There was a fence around Gaza and nowhere to go. More extremists are created this way, unfortunately. I don't know, like maybe you're referencing, this is kind of the claim that people made, is that Israel left Gaza 2005 and then kind of like encircled it in a wall and kind of like besieged them. And that's why they're attacking Israel or something like that. I just think this is wrong. Israel left Gaza. Gaza had then the opportunity to build something from Gaza. It wasn't sealed and locked away. They left the greenhouses there and all that. They had elections there, and then they elected Hamas. Hamas killed off the opposition Fatah and started militarizing Gaza to launch rockets into Israel. Like, I think they had the agency there to make that decision. I don't think they were like forced into this unlivable situation in Gaza by Israel. I think if anything, like the let's call it the blockade to prevent all these weapons from coming into Gaza is a result of the endless rocket attacks that Hamas did against Israel. That Israel didn't want them to get their hands on all these weapons. Prank TV sends Iran and Mossad. Okay. I'm praying for Israel. Many Christians in America pray for you. Thank you for your prayers. Do you think the Hajj Amin al-Husseini theory is true and that he was responsible for the persecution of the Jewish people? No, he wasn't. Look, a lot of people persecuted the Jewish people, so he's not quote responsible. But when he was the leader of the Palestinians, he supported Hitler, right? He spent time in Berlin. He knew about the final solution in Europe, and he supported it. He helped Hitler conscript Bosnian Muslims into the Wehrmacht and the SS. So that's what he did. And yeah, I mean, he's one person, but he was the leader of the Palestinians at the time, or the Arabs who would later become Palestinians. So wasn't exactly a man of peace, I would say. Which Islamic country do you think is Israel's strongest ally? Asks Faluska. Israel's strongest ally in the Muslim world? I don't know. I don't know. Azerbaijan. There you go. Azerbaijan. So yeah, I visited Azerbaijan. They're big allies of Israel. Keep spitting truth, brother. Do cite your sources though, for academic integrity's sake. Yeah, I mean, look, I can't. It's a bit hard when people are firing questions at you to always cite an academic source. Yeah. So I don't know. Their client stage, no, Azerbaijan. Do you think the world naturally sides with Palestine? Why or why not? No, I don't think. I don't think they all side with Palestine. That's kind of the mistake that the pro-Palestinians make. Is they think everyone is like so on the Palestinian side. It's not exactly the case. I mean, they have a lot of allies, don't get me wrong. There's a lot of people who side with the Palestinians automatically against Israel every time. But there's also a lot who don't, and even the ones who were sympathetic Palestinians aren't so excited about giving full support for Hamas. So I think the Palestinians, they kind of overestimate their support to their own detriment, because then they think they can get more. They can continue the war indefinitely with Israel, and at some point they're going to get it all or something, when I don't think that's realistic. What's happening these days with the attempt to remove Gali Bahar of Miara? Oh, that's too much. That's too complicated for us. There's this whole thing with the judicial system in Israel and the judicial oversight with the government and all that. They want to remove someone in a certain position. Whatever. Do you like chicken nuggets? I hope that's not a secret word for something weird. But if it's just chicken nuggets, yeah, why not? Hi, Alec. Great live. Thanks, Elon. Another childhood friend. I've had 2 childhood friends in the live stream today. It's kind of funny. Your thoughts of Iran, says Pure Juicy Poli. I don't know. What's my thoughts? I want to make a video about Iran now, about the history of Iran, which is not exactly what my channel has done so far, but I thought it would be cool. And I mean, yeah, it looks like the Islamic Republic is going to survive. So as long as the Islamic Republic is there, we're going to be enemies, unfortunately. I think also we might find ourselves in another active war soonish, because I don't think the whole military program was destroyed. I mean, President Trump stood there after they bombed Fordo, and he was like, the nuclear program has been completely and utterly destroyed, right? He said it. I don't know if it was completely and utterly destroyed. I think it was stepped back significantly, but we may be in a situation in a couple of years from now where they've kind of rebuilt whatever they lost, and you're going to have to attack them again. The nuclear program, yeah? Unless they actually signed a surrender deal to the nuclear program where they actually don't enrich anywhere near 60%, which is not happening. Do you love Moroccan people like me? Love the Moroccans, my friend. Love Moroccans. Had a great time in Morocco. You should check my videos from Morocco. Welcome to Tanzania, the land of Kilimanjaro and Zanzibar. Yeah, I was right next to Tanzania when I was in Kenya, but didn't make it into Tanzania, unfortunately. Maybe next time. Ephraim says, my prediction is that Israelis will be able to visit Iran within the next couple of years. Yeah. Well, it's kind of funny because, Syria for 50 years was under the Assads, and then one bright day disappeared, 60 years, actually. So these things can happen quickly when they happen, but I don't know what the process would be, and I don't know what would happen to Iran after the Islamic Republic would be overthrown, because you would have power struggles and this, and would they be able to transition to democracy, or would they transition to monarchy, right? Bring the Shah back. Some questions. I don't know how that would work, and I fear for Iran of like the chaos of a civil war as well, right? So I don't want to see people there hurt or dragged into long, protracted wars. But I also, I know under the Islamic Republic, they're just going to suffer for sure. So I wish that would change. If someone in your friend group supports Palestine, what would you think of that friend? I don't know. I mean, most of my closer friends are not that into the politics. I know some people who are a bit more like pro-Palestinian. I don't know. I mean, depends what their position is. Depends. I might. I don't have a problem being friends with anyone, even if I don't agree with their opinions, as long as they're respectful as people. When will you visit Serbia and Bosnia? Asks Anna, Swedish Girls on Adventures. Yeah, hopefully, and when I make another trip abroad, then that could happen. Balkans, lots of stuff to see in the Balkans still. And Serbia, Bosnia, very interesting. I wonder what happens if you go to Bosnia after you were in Serbia, or if you go to Serbia after you've been in Bosnia. Those countries have some history, huh? How many different countries have you visited so far? I mean, so since I've started vlogging, I've vlogged from like 25, I think, around 25. And I've been to more because there's some countries I visited before I started vlogging, right? Did you exercise today? No, not really. Should have. Swedish Go on Adventures. I know the language and history of Serbia, Bosnia. Could give you ideas. Well, let's see when that happens. Have you been to America? You should come to Texas. I was in Texas once back in 2010. After I was in the military, I worked 1 year in the US and traveled to a bunch of places in the US. And I was in Dallas for a while. But I don't know anything else about Texas. So, yeah, I should probably do like a bunch of videos from the US. It would be cool. Are you dating the Swedish girl or something? She's really rizzing you up. No. Yeah, she's just a supporter. What do you think of Russia being friends with Iran? Russia being friends with Iran, I don't know. It's like an anti-American axis, right? It's Russia, Iran, China. Who else is in that? Venezuela. It's like a group of countries that are creating this other axis, a non-democratic axis, should be said, by the way. And that's it. It's like a marriage of interest. But I don't think Russia and Iran have that much in common, or could really have a true, proper partnership. Not to mention all the jihadists that Russia has faced in its history in Chechnya and in Afghanistan and other places.